I'm Atsushima Suko, former Director General of the Bureau of the Waterworks for the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Today, I would like to share with you experiences of non-revenue water reduction in Tokyo Waterworks. First of all, I would like to talk about the relationship of Taipei Waterworks and Tokyo Waterworks. Taipei Waterworks and Tokyo Waterworks signed a memorandum of understanding on technical cooperation in 2013. This picture shows the ceremony of MOU. The two waterworks bureaus have been promoting technical exchanges since then. Before I get into my talk, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the environment in which Tokyo Waterworks distribution system operates. Tokyo is a city of 13 million people. The total supply capacity of its facilities is about 7 million cubic meters per day. I would like to show you what is non-revenue water in Tokyo. Now, revenue water rate in Tokyo is 96%. Non-revenue water rate is 4%. Leakage rate is 3.5%, and others are 0.5%. This graph shows you the change in the materials used to make pipes, including the switch to ductile iron and stainless steel, and the reduction in the non-revenue water rate. 60 years ago, its rate was 40%, but the current rate is only 4%. These changes not only reduced the non-revenue water rate, they also helped strengthen the pipe networks. Now I would like to focus on anti-seismic pipe joint. Conventional pipe joints do not withstand strong earthquake, which results in slip-outs. On the other hand, anti-seismic joints can help prevent this phenomenon. Tokyo Water adopted completely anti-seismic joint pipes after the 1995 Kobe earthquake. Anti-seismic joint pipes as a percentage of the total number of Tokyo Water's pipes gradually increased from 5% in 1997 to 52% in 2024. That percentage is expected to increase to 66% by 2035. About 1.3% of the network is scheduled for conversion annually. Japanese utilities strategy for adopting pipe system has changed after the 1995 Kobe earthquake. Before 1995, anti-seismic pipe system was not popular. The graph on the right shows that the ratio of producing conventional pipe was only 2% of newly produced ductile cast iron pipes in 2024. The remaining 98% was anti-seismic pipe. This shows replacement priority. First is old ductile cast iron pipes without anti-seismic joints. Second is supply routes to important facilities such as hospitals. Third is areas expected to be heavily damaged in an earthquake. This graph shows you annual pipe replacement ratio in Tokyo Waterworks. Unfortunately, recent its ratio is reducing. Why is the pipe replacement ratio not progressing in recent years? The annual volume of pipe replacement in Japan has been decreasing for 20 years. Shockingly, it is now less than half of what it was 2 decades ago. Looking at the breakdown, the replacement of the ductile iron pipes, the mainstay of the system, has dropped to 40% of its former level, while polyethylene PE pipes are on the rise. The use of polyvinyl chloride PVC pipes has plummeted, resulting in a combined total for plastic pipes that is only 49% of the volume seen 20 years ago. The replacement rate is annual replacement length divided by total network length. It has fallen from an average of 1.4% 20 years ago to a mere 0.6% recently. At a rate of 0.6%, it would take over 150 years to replace everything. Consequently, even in the 20 major cities where efforts are relatively high, the average seismic resistance rate is only about 30%. At current speeds, it will take another century to complete the task. Why is progress so slow? One major factor is a surge in the unit replacement cost. Total annual construction cost divided by replacement length. In Tokyo, this unit cost is now 2.5 times higher than it was 20 years ago. Even with the same budget, we can only replace 40% of the lengths we once could. This is due to a complex mix of factors. Labor shortages and low profitabilities for contractors have led to frequent and successful bid where no one bids, which in turn drives up contract prices. Another factor is a decline in water revenue. Total revenue nationwide has dropped from 3 trillion yen to 2.5 trillion yen, a 12% decrease over the last 2 decades. The causes include a shrinking population, lower per capita usage, and a decrease in high-volume users. The fact that water rates have not been raised during this period is also a major contributor. The left side is 20 years ago spending, and the right side is the current spending. As essential expenses like electricity costs rise, water utilities are forced to delay pipe replacements to balance their shrinking budgets. Now, I would like to talk about where water leaks in Tokyo. The repair of service pipe leaks accounts for 97% of the total number of leak repairs on the distribution system up to meters. Therefore, it is very important to reduce service pipe leaks. This picture gives us a general idea of the boundary of responsibility between a utility and a customer. In Tokyo, that boundary point is at the water meters, although service pipes themselves actually belong to customers. A stainless steel service pipe is installed underground between a branch fitting from the main under a public road and the water meter on a customer's private property. For the pipe material, Tokyo Water chose SUS 316 over SUS 304. In 1980, although it was more expensive initially, it withstands corrosion much better and requires less post-installation maintenance. In 1998, we added a corrugation to these pipes. Combined, this gives us a highly flexible corrosion-resistant service connections that handle earthquake stress well. This is the same as the one used in Taiwan. Please let me explain another problem with service connections. Around 15% of customers' lots do not face public roads, and service pipes to those customers pass under private roads. One result was the creation of weak PVC pipe connections. In 1995, Tokyo Water addressed this problem to reduce the risks of leaks and earthquake damage, and that plan was accelerated after the 2011 Great Earthquake. Tokyo Water has installed distribution mains and private roads and replaced PVC pipes with stainless steel pipes up to meters. And at the end of mains, a fire hydrant is installed. Of course, those distribution mains are anti-seismic ductile cast iron pipes, which we call NS type or GX type. This graph shows you the installation lengths of distribution mains and private roads. That length was from 30 to 40 kilometers a year recently, and is planned to be installed 47 kilometers every year. As a result, anti-seismic pipe ratio under private roads was 53% in 2024 and is planned to increase to 67% in 2030. This graph shows you service pipe leaks have reduced by pipe replacement. The blue line shows the ratio of stainless steel pipes in public road. In 2004, it has reached to 100%. The red line shows the number of service pipe leaks. Even after 2004, it keeps reducing by pipe replacement in private road. This graph shows you above-ground leakage and underground leakage. Above-ground leakage is found by urgent informing, and it steals 8,000 cases every year. The other hand, underground leakage is detected by many experts, and it has reduced to 300 cases a year. It means that only one leakage is detected a day, and leak detection has been becoming very difficult. Therefore, pipe replacement has been more and more important than leak detection. This graph shows you the non-revenue water rate for recent 25 years. Until now, I have showed you long-term pipe replacement activities in Tokyo. In spite of that, you will find that non-revenue water rate remains 4% for over 15 years. I think it means that non-revenue water rate 4% is lower limit level in Tokyo. In Tokyo, we have increased the water pressure so that even three-story buildings can be directly connected to water supply. In these circumstances, we have been lowering and maintaining the non-revenue water rate. I would like to talk about why replace the pipes again. The first reason is that water supply is not suspended in case of earthquakes. The second reason is to reduce the non-revenue water rate. Recently, earthquake countermeasures have become more and more important than non-revenue water reduction in Tokyo. I also talk about cost effectiveness of pipe replacement. I think cost effectiveness is a little weak from the viewpoint of only non-revenue water reduction. However, it is very strong from the viewpoint of earthquake countermeasures in Tokyo. Conclusion is that non-revenue water rate 4% is due to the result of pipe replacement, especially service pipe replacement. I would like to emphasize that pipe replacement contributes not only to keep non-revenue water rate 4%, but also to earthquake countermeasures, to keep water quality clean, and to gain the trust of citizens. From now on, I'll talk about ESG initiatives in Tokyo Waterworks. Tokyo Waterworks Bureau announced ESG initiatives in 2025. From now on, I will introduce some important topics from among them. This picture shows a water supply station with direct water distribution pump, which station completed in 2023. This system has two characteristics utilizing receiving water pressure. One is that there is hydropower generation before entering the reservoir. The other is that there is a direct water distribution pump using receiving water pressure. This water is distributed in combination with pump water from the reservoir. Next, I will show you the introduction of solar power and hydropower. The total output of solar power is 10 megawatts, while the total output of hydropower is 3 megawatts. Next, I would like to talk about electricity saving by direct water supply. Switching from the reservoir system to the direct water supply saves electricity for customers. As I mentioned before, the water pressure is rising gradually. The three-story building is supplied with water directly without a pump everywhere. The minimum water pressure is 20 meter and the average water pressure is 32 meter. If there is pressure enough, even in more than three-story building is supplied with water directly without a pump. If the pressure is not enough, the booster pump is attached. In buildings with more than 16 floors, an additional booster pump is attached to the middle floor to supply water. Percentage of direct water supply in newly built buildings with 3 stories or more in 2024 in Tokyo is over 90%. Existing buildings have also started to convert their supply systems from reservoir type to direct type. At its peak in the 2010s, as many as 3,000 buildings in Tokyo were converted into direct water supply system annually. This number is the same as the annual number of newly built buildings that use direct water supply, as I mentioned before. Recently, the number of its buildings has decreased, but even so, 1,000 buildings are converted to direct water supply system annually. Receiving reservoirs were equipped in most buildings 3 stories or taller in 1995. Today, the number of buildings with direct supply or direct booster pump systems is more than the number with a receiving reservoir system. Please let me summarize the merits of direct water supply. First, such systems save energy. Second, water is not exposed to the air, so deterioration risk is minimized and quality is preserved. Third, there is no need for receiving reservoir maintenance. This also saves not only energy, but only cost and labor. Related to this, the initial cost and maintenance cost are much lower. The last merit is related to space in megacities. Conversion means space is created. New installations mean that space can be used more efficiently. Please let me describe Tokyo's optimal supply pressure. This picture shows one approximation of the total power consumption in the distribution facilities and in customer water lifting systems. When water suppliers lower supply pressure to save power, customers have to make up for that in their buildings. However, it is very important to minimize overall water supply power consumption. This shows how providing pressure capable of supplying a 3-story building is a better choice in Tokyo, as it reduces the total power consumed. Thank you very much for your attention.